Hi guys, welcome to Maybe News. Today I've made you a video with a list of 10 actors who died on a movie set. 10. Roy Kinnear. Actor Roy Kinnear hadn't expected to perform the strenuous stunt of riding a galloping horse across the Alcantara Bridge in Toledo, Spain, from the 1989 movie The Return of the Musketeers. Kinnear had a long, loaded career, including roles in a Beatles cult movie Help, and the classic Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. But by the late 1988, when the movie was filming, Kinnear was now 54 years old and weighed in more than 200 pounds, and a horseman he was not. But still, he accepted the challenge. It was a fateful decision. Kinnear was thrown from his horse and fractured his pelvis. Though not life-threatening, the injury was complicated by internal bleeding. Kinnear died in a hospital one day later. 9. Vic Morrow. Despite his life's work as an actor, Vic Morrow's greatest contribution may have been his death. Morrow was a veteran actor of both TV and movie, and his credits included the hit World War II series Combat and the groundbreaking movie Blackboard Jungle. But by 1982, it had been some years since his last big role, and appearing in The Twilight Zone the movie could have marked his comeback. In the movie, Morrow's racist character experienced a Scrooge-like change of heart through time travel. In the climatic scene, he rescues 2 Vietnamese children from a helicopter fire during the Vietnam War. But the helicopter flying into the exploding charge was not part of the script. The accident blinded the pilot, the chopper crashed to earth, crushing the girl 6-year-old Rinnie Chen and decapitating Morrow's and the 7-year-old boy, Maisa Dean Lee. 8. Jean Harlow. Not even 10 years into her career, Jean was looking less and less like her blonde bombshell self. Even her signature platinum locks began to fall out in clumps as the weekly bleachings finally took their toll. Then, during an operation to remove all 4 of her wisdom teeth, Jane's heart momentarily stopped beating. 2 months later, while working on another movie with Clark Gable, called Saratoga, her mouth was still infected from the surgery. Stomach pain and vomiting, believed to be the flu, kept Jean home in bed and was later misdiagnosed and treated as swollen gallbladder. In 1937, Hollywood was shocked to learn of the sudden and tragic death of the actress, who succumbed to uremic poisoning at the age of 26. 7. Brandon Lee. The real story behind his death while filming 1993's The Crow reads like a skillfully plotted fiction, a chain of minor lapses in judgment and in the death of an innocent victim. It all began when the pub crew, untrained in firearms, made homeless dummies harmless discharged bullets for the close-up shots of a loaded gun. The crew bought conventional cartridges as well as the entire ammunition assembly, bullets, gunpowder, and a primer, the small charge that triggers the gunpowder. Then they removed the bullets, emptied the gunpowder, and then placed the now empty bullets back in. The same gun was used to shoot blanks in the scene where Lee's character is murdered. Blanks are cartridges with the gunpowder and primer but without bullets. Blanks provide the flash, bang and smoke used to show as a gun being fired. On the fateful day, the firearms expert had left the set because the dangerous scenes had already been shot. If he'd been there, he might have checked the gun and seen that the 1 bullet from the dummies was left in the barrel. He would have known that the blanks could expel the bullet with the lethal force, and that's what just happened. Fired from 50 feet away, the bullet tore into Lee's abdomen and through his vital organs, coming to the rest of his spine. Despite hours of surgery and 60 pins of blood transfusions, Lee died of a massive internal bleeding. He was 28 years old. 6. Martha Mansfield. It was Thanksgiving Day 1923 on location in San Antonio, Texas, and Martha Mansfield had a lot to be thankful for. The 24-year-old actress was a rising star in the Hollywood scene. She sat in a car with fellow actors, having just finished the day shooting for her last movie, a Civil War love story called The Warrens of Virginia. Mansfield was still in her costume that ruffled finery befitting of a Southern belle when someone in the car struck a match. Mansfield's clothing was immediately set ablaze. Her co-star managed to contain the flames using his overcoat, and the chauffeur tore the dress from Mansfield's body, burning himself in the process. Her injuries were too severe and she died the next morning. Last day of November 1923. As a small consolation, the man's actions had saved her face and neck from being burned. The studio heads, dry-eyed, noted that Mansfield has mostly wrapped up her work on the movie, saving them trouble of recasting her role. Her scenes were parted down, another actress promoted as a star, and the show went on. 5. Red Fox. Red and friend Della Rizzi co-starred in a movie called Harlem Nights. The CBS network liked their performance and signed the 2 of them to act in the new sitcom called The Royal Family. While on the set, he suffered of a massive heart attack and died. It was October 11, 1991. 4. John Eric Hexum. The actor who played Green Beret turned modern Black Harper in the new series about international intrigue and fashion photography, had been napping during delays in the filming. After learning there would be still more delays, Hexum held the gun to his head, reportedly joking, "Can you believe this crap?" and pulled the trigger. He thought the gun was empty. but the impact from the blast fractured his skull, driving a bone fragment the size of a quarter into his brain. He was rushed to the Beverly Hills Medical Center, where despite 5 hours of surgery, he would remain comatose until he was pronounced brain dead on October 18. 3. John Witter. September 12, 2003, a popular TV and movie star, John Witter, has suddenly died while rehearsing on a television production set from an undetected flaw in his heart called an aortic dissection. He was 54 years old. Witter came to fame in the 1970s TV program There's Company, and he was experiencing resurgence in his career with the TV comedy 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter. Sadly, it didn't last for long. An aortic dissection refers to an abnormal separation of tissues within the walls of the aorta, the large blood vessel that carries blood from the heart to the rest of the body. 2. Oliver Reed. Oliver Reed, the actor who was as well known for his rowdy drinking antics as he was for his performances on stage and screen, died after being taken ill in a bar in Valletta, Malta. Mr. Reed, who appeared in 53 movies including Women in Love, was in Malta for filming The Gladiator, which was seen by some as the beginning of a comeback for him. The actor, best known for his work with director Ken Russell, was in a bar with his wife, Josephine, and some Maltese friends and crew members. A friend of his said that he tried giving the actor artificial respiration, but Mr. Reed died shortly afterwards on the way to the hospital. 1. Tyrone Power. Tyrone Power was born and bred an actor. His grandfather was a well-known Irish comedian, his father a respected performer of both stage and screen. The younger Power followed his old man footsteps, tragically you might say. He traveled with his dad to Hollywood and was at his side when Tyrone Power Sr. died from a heart attack he suffered after a day's filming. And young Power died the same as his father. It was 11th of November, 1958. After the 8th take of the fight scene in Solomon and Sheba, he began to tremble, complaining of aches and chills. He quickly collapsed and died of a heart attack, just as his father had 27 years before. That's all for today. Thanks guys for watching and see you in the next episode.